Borderlands from Eli Roth. It's a sci-fi action movie about a group of misfits fighting to find a planet's most sought-after treasure. This movie is of course based off the video game series Borderlands. We follow Lilith, played by Cate Blanchett. She's a bounty hunter sent on a mission to find a little girl named Tina for a blatantly villainous man who's allegedly her father. In scooping her up, she finds herself teamed up with a motley crew to find a place called the Vault, which holds some sort of valuable ancient secrets. Just a quick disclaimer, this is a non-gamers review. If you have not played the video games and you're wondering if this movie is worth checking out, then this video is for you. So this is a ragtag action-adventure flick. We follow a bunch of edgy characters with clashing personalities through a bunch of dangerous battles. Some of these battles have their moments of delight. If you like action films with hectic action sequences, there's a couple scenes you might enjoy here. But I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you now that this movie was not good. Bad writing and production are the culprits here. I'll start with the writing. The dialogue is sometimes ridiculously bad. I'd like to quote one of the exchanges in the movie. "Are you really his daughter?" Yes and no. That wasn't a yes or no question. What are you talking about? It was a yes or no question, it just wasn't answered with both yes and no. In addition to dialogue that doesn't make sense, the banter alternates from being painfully generic and horrendously cringy.
I needed a gun, so you asked for it.
And just in case Claptrap defecating a bunch of bullets in the trailer didn't make this clear, some of the humor is incredibly childish. The muscle of the group, Krieg, is basically written as the same character as Tina, except that he's an incohesive brute. That's the whole joke. Tina is really childish and Krieg matches her energy, which is pure comedy gold because he's a big muscular guy. A lot of the production design is pretty decent, but then the movie has some very noticeable green screening that rivals the mediocrity of 2017 Justice League. And in the service of trying to be as honorable to the video games as possible, some of the costume design looks pretty faux. Case in point, Lilith's hair looks terrible. There also could have been some evolution to Tina's costume design to justify why she looks that way. She just suddenly has bunny ears and a band-aid on her nose. Obtaining pieces of her game-accurate costume throughout the movie in a sensible way would have been a lot more exciting for fans and then more immersive for us normies. Some of these characters have a little bit of depth to them, namely Lilith and Tina, but then there's the characters who are purely two-dimensional. Not every character needs to have a primary protagonist level of depth, but we spend so much time with some of these characters like Roland and Krieg, and we're never really given reasons to care about them. One of the things I saw a lot of people talking about in YouTube comment sections when the first trailer dropped was how bad the cast looked. Again, I had no expectations of what the shoes that needed filling looked like because I had never played the games before. That said, like with any original picture, we all kind of have our opinions about characters we see on screen who may or may not be portrayed by the wrong actors. I gotta say that even as a Borderlands virgin, the cast felt pretty wrong overall. Not many characters actually felt like they were being portrayed by the right actor. I thought that Tina was decent, being played by Ariana Greenblatt, and to the imminent dismay of many gamers who clicked this video, I did not hate Kevin Hart as Roland. Everyone else was just wrong. It feels strange to say that because there is some serious talent in this cast, but Cate Blanchett was not who they needed to portray an edgy, blasé bounty hunter. Both her and Jamie Lee Curtis felt like they were playing characters who would have been better depicted by actresses 20 years younger than them. This has to be the work of studio interference. There's no way that they didn't have better auditions. They were definitely just casting the actors they thought would sell more tickets. They ditched creative integrity for the sake of business by casting a couple of Oscar-winning actresses and two comedy icons like Kevin Hart and Jack Black, and Ariana Greenblatt fresh out of the highest grossing film of 2023. So I can't help but think that a non-zero amount of gamers will try and defend this movie for the sole reason that they had a fun time catching all the little Easter eggs and references to the games. You're allowed to enjoy a movie for whatever reason that you want, but I personally would never measure a movie's quality solely by how heavily it references its source material. For example, I do consider myself a fan of the Suicide Squad comics. Do I try and defend David Ayer's 2017 Suicide Squad movie for some of the things that it got right? I do not, and that movie now has a buddy to sit right next to it in the dumpster behind your local Walmart because nobody is buying this one on Blu-ray. With a cliche premise, mediocre writing, and subpar direction, this movie was just pretty crummy overall. I'll say that this movie sits on the better end of terrible. If we're being fair, it wasn't a total dumpster fire overall, but make no mistake, it is a bad movie. Having also heard the thoughts of some friends who enjoyed the games but hated this movie, I don't think this movie is for anyone. Just don't waste your time or money. Thank you for watching this review. If it brought you Thank you for watching this review. If it brought you any value at all, please give it a like. It really does help the channel grow. I'll see you later this week with my review of Cuckoo.